The Abay Kazakh State Academic Theatre was founded in 1933. For almost a century, the theatre has become the largest theatre in the Eurasian region and the major theatre of the Kazakh musical culture. The Abay Kazakh State Academic Theatre goes on tour every year. The theatre company has already performed in Italy and Georgia. This time, Kazakhstan's oldest theatre and its ballet troupe will perform in France. It is the birthplace of classical choreographic art. The first city on the tour is Strasbourg. The Strasbourg Philharmonic Orchestra is based at the Strasbourg Music and Congresses Palace. This time, this palace will become a place for the public to meet with a team from the distant city of Almaty. The tour is held under the auspices of the Modernization of Kazakhstan's Identity Program and the Year of Youth with the support of the Ministry of Culture and Sports of Kazakhstan. The performances of the ballet troupe became the opening event of the Kazakhstan Autumn in France project, organized by the Kazakh Embassy in France.
Привезли мы новые постановки, премьера которых состоялась в апреле этого года.
We brought new productions that we staged for the first time in April this year. It includes 3 one-act ballets, Chopiniana, Discovering Bach, and Bolero. Thus, our big tour in general opens not only our 86th season, but also opens Kazakh professional ballet art for the European audience.
Европейского зрителя именно профессиональной казахской балетным искусством.
This is a challenge for stage workers and lighting specialists who came with the troupe. The size and features of the backstage do not allow to fully unfold the scenery. It is necessary to change them in a matter of hours. And thanks to the efforts of the technical team, the mysterious forest of Chopiniana appears on the stage, which will then be replaced by neoclassicism. The day of the performance is a special day for David Jonathan. This is the world premiere of his production titled Discovering Bach. David is a ballet dancer with almost 20 years of experience. He started his career in his native Australia, conquered the best European theaters as a soloist, and then as a choreographer.
And so the structure of the ballet is a deconstruction of classical ballet and in all its forms. And I did this on purpose because the strength of the artist of this theater is their classical ballet. And to bring them to something more modern, more new, more close to my vocabulary of work, I decided to make this deconstruction. And so, in fact, in the creative process, I started backwards. I started with the end of the ballet, the more modern, more neoclassic style.
Discovering Bach is a one-act, plotless ballet. It is based on one of Bach's most popular piano concerts. But regular classicism breaks with crystal music. Abstraction reigns on the stage. The choreographic language of the dance retells in its own way the music of the luminaries and fills the well-known melodies with new expression.
Наши ведущие солисты уже устоявшиеся, и это Динара Есентаева.
Our leading soloists, Dinara Yesentayeva and Azamat Askarov, perform in our entire classical repertoire. They will also perform in the Chopiniana play, which was premiered recently at our theatre. We will perform this at the Strasbourg Music and Congresses Palace in the city of Strasbourg.
Будем показывать на сцене Конгресс-холла города Страсбурга.
The exhibition of photographs of the soloists tells about the repertoire of the Chopiniana. The romantic classical play occupies a special place. Les Sylphides is also the name of famous Mikhail Fokin's ballet staged on the piano with the works of Frédéric Chopin. Its premiere took place in 1907. The White Ballet was revived and edited by chief choreographer Guljan Tuktibaeva at the Abay Kazakh State Academic Theatre. The organization of such large-scale tours is a huge work. Logistics, hall, audience, and conditions for artists. The project coordinators begin these activities many months before the performance itself.
Таком, вот как балет или оркестр.
It is not an easy thing to organize a performance for a ballet company or an orchestra abroad. This is a challenging task. You have to think and prepare everything in advance, otherwise you will face problems later. Therefore, from the very first day of our stay, we must think through everything. If we talk about what I do, I organize tours. I help to connect theaters with embassies and everyone who brings artists to perform. In the case of ballet, we need to find all the necessary things, including lighting and sound. For example, if the theater does not have any materials, we will need to rent them. We are also responsible for all advertising work, and this is probably one of the most difficult tasks. Kazakhstan is not well known in Europe. It is difficult to attract the interest of the Europeans because for them, it is something new. However, there is still a big interest, and the crowded hall by the first performance proves this fact. A session of the European Parliament is also taking place in Strasbourg during these days. I envy everyone who had the opportunity to get acquainted with the wonderful country of Kazakhstan. The country has 28 years of history as an independent modern state, but nevertheless, it has a centuries-old history. This is a wonderful country for those who love horses, stunning landscapes. And tonight, I was really amazed to know more about your culture. The blue light of Chopiniana play takes the audience to the 19th century. Chopin's waltzes are lyrical. Their lightness is also transmitted to the dance. Romantic ballet in its purest form captivates the audience. The ethereal creatures that surround the main character makes one forgets about the complex technique of the moves. The most important thing is what you feel at this moment. The perception of Kazakhstan in Europe should occur not only through economics and politics, but also through culture. Because we are convinced that culture is the most direct way to the hearts of people who live outside our country. The theatre management prepared more surprises for the audience. Chopiniana's romanticism was replaced by an unexpected choreographic performance of Bach, and the evening ended with Maurice Ravel's Bolero orchestral piece. The Kazakh theatre presented a charming and passionate contemporary ballet directed by Ricardo Amarante. I was impressed to see the energy of dancers who moved with exceptional grace. They totally bring the charm and atmosphere of the 19th century in Europe. When the lights go out in the hall, only emotions matter, and the best reward for the soloists is the applause of the audience. The tour of the Abai State Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre continues as the troupe will perform in the French city of Hyères. Located just 20 kilometers from Paris, Hyères is a quiet, very green and charming city and famous for its history. Medieval abbeys, castles, churches, fountains and parks are created for long walks and creativity. The local architecture and nature sound in unison with plays performed at the local theatre. Today, the Abai Kazakh State Academic Theatre is going to present its unique program here. Nargis Mirseidova and Nelson Peña are dance partners. And now, between the performances in the busy tour schedule, they found time for fiery Latin American rhythms. Nelson Peña, originally from Cuba, studied choreographic art from childhood at the National Ballet School in Havana.
De carácter,
Choreographer Ricardo Amarante chose me to participate in the Bolero play. It was a great honor for me. Ricardo Amarante is a very good choreographer because he knows how to show the talents and mastery of each soloist. It is very difficult and not everyone has such a talent. In my case, he asked me to demonstrate my Latin American spirit, sensuality, all that we, Cubans and Latin Americans in general, are famous for.
según el público y los profesores.
Bolero is one of the one-act ballets in the touring repertoire of Abai Theatre. It lasted only 15 minutes, but the play is full of passion and sensual pleasure. Almost 100 years ago, famous dancer Ida Rubinstein asked Maurice Ravel to write a Spanish-style arrangement. The composer created a variation of the Spanish folk dance bolero. hypnotic, rhythmic, bewitching.
Как я вижу, это спектакль, он о грации женского тела.
As I see it, this performance is about the grace of the female body and, of course, passion in music and performance. It all starts with one couple, then the second and third couples come out. 3 couples are dancing, and in the end, there are simply a lot of people on stage and everyone is dancing, and we see a real passion.
Где просто уже очень много человек на сцене, и все танцуют, и все вот в этом празднике страсти.
Invited Brazilian choreographer Ricardo Amarante presented his vision of the ballet with a postmodern tradition. He used the scandalous production of the last century and added more characters. Malika Elchibaeva plays the part of Ida Rubinstein in the Bolero play. Despite her young age, Malika is an experienced soloist that performs the leading parts in all the major theater performances.
Портрет Иды Рубинштейн был нарисован в 1910 году в Париже Валентином Серовым. Тема была «Жизнь на показ».
The portrait of Ida Rubinstein was painted in 1910 in Paris by Valentin Serov. The theme was to show her life. Ida Rubinstein was under great attention all the time. He saw her on stage in Paris. He was so excited and decided to paint her portrait. Ricardo Amarante saw her portrait. He was also inspired to create Bolero, a one-act ballet.
Такой одноактный балет «Болеро».
The Bolero was the final theater's performance on the stage of Hyères, but before the passion captures the audience visited the mysterious forest in the Chopiniana play and the abstract space of David Jonathan's Discovering Bach. Each of the 3 plays is unique and incomparable. Janelle Tukieva, the leading soloist of the theater, dances in all of today's productions. For her, this is another way to prove her high professionalism.
Каждый антракт у нас, помимо того, что мы должны внутренне себя подготовить к новому образу, у нас присутствует и технический момент, то, что мы должны быстро переодеть костюм.
When we have break, we have time to prepare ourselves emotionally for a new character. We also have a technical moment whereby we must quickly change our costume, completely change our hairstyle, and remake our head, as we say. We have one hairstyle in Chopiniana play, and we completely change our look for Discovering Bach play.
Разрушаем, вплетаем косы, и на болеро снова все это распускается и собирается аккуратная балетная голова.
The Hyères Theatre accommodated hundreds of guests that evening, most of them coming to the suburb of Paris from the French capital.
Donc on gère à la fois les programmations et également les locations de salles.
It is a great happiness to receive the ballet troupe from Kazakhstan, which is happening for the first time in the last 20 years. The second performance will take place in Hyères after Strasbourg. It is a great honor for us. We organize mainly various concerts of stars of French music, as well as concerts of classical music, opera and ballet performances. And we hope to welcome the ballet troupe of Kazakhstan once again in the future. The evening of one-act ballets in Hyères ended with a standing ovation. Each audience knew something new about the country and its ballet traditions.
So we just saw the ballet with Bach music, you see, and I do think it was absolutely gorgeous. The way the dances are perfect, and the decoration, the walls, well, with fold at the end, it's absolutely wonderful. And I do think that it's wonderful to see that in Kazakhstan, they also dance the same way as in Europe, you see. And I do think it's really interesting to see this in Europe.
Ballet shows us that dance is the most beautiful of all the art forms. Choreographer does a colossal work to breathe life into play and find the key to any of a billion hearts. The ballet company also works hard to present their mastery and professionalism. The technical team also contributes to this key. The Abay State Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre is completing its French tour, and we hope to return here again.